I want to share a number of links to help people get up to speed with the extent of our participation in the war in Yemen. Most of our media breezes over the details, but you can put it together if you read enough and if you cross-reference enough. So I'm going to have a bunch of links. If you don't feel like typing them in, just Google the title and the publication. So let's start with where all the Saudi weapons are coming from. The New York Times. With $30 billion arms deal, U.S. bolsters Saudi ties. From Foreign Policy. U.S. shipping thousands of cluster bombs to Saudis despite global ban. Again from Foreign Policy. Why is the U.S. selling billions in weapons to autocrats? From The Intercept. The NSA's new partner in spying, Saudi Arabia's brutal police state. From The Intercept. Emails show Hillary Clinton aides celebrating F-15 sales to Saudi Arabia. Good news! From the State Department. A briefing on pending major arms sale. From ABC News. House okays ongoing cluster bomb sales to Saudi Arabia, saying a ban would stigmatize the weapons. From The Guardian. Obama administration offered $115 billion in weapons to Saudi Arabia. From Mother Jones. How U.S. cluster bombs banned by most countries ended up in Yemen. The Guardian. WikiLeaks cables. Secret deal let Americans sidestep cluster bomb ban. The Washington Post. Saudi Arabia appears to be using U.S.-supplied white phosphorus in its war in Yemen. The Independent. Saudi Arabia appears to be using U.S.-supplied white phosphorus in its war in Yemen. It's the same title and it deals with the same issue. From the United Nations Secretary General's Office. Statement attributable to the spokesman for the Secretary General on Yemen. Now, time for the depressing and eye-opening stuff. War crimes. From The Guardian. UN report into Saudi-led strikes in Yemen raises questions over UK role. From CBS News. Dozens killed as US-backed coalition allegedly targets funeral. This is AP's Matthew Lee asking questions to, I believe it's Josh Earnest. Any difference? Airstrikes, Yemen and Aleppo? October 11, 2016. That one's on YouTube. From the New York Times. Aurora at a funeral and Yemen's war is altered. Human Rights Watch. Yemen. U.S. bombs used in deadliest market strike. From The Guardian. Why do they target us? Yemeni civilians pay the price of escalating crisis. The Intercept. Yemen's hidden war. How the Saudi-led coalition is killing civilians. From Action on Armed Violence to Charity. State of crisis. Explosive weapons in Yemen. From Amnesty International. Yemen. Call for suspension of arms transfers to coalition and accountability for war crimes. From the New York Times. Doctors Without Borders is pulling staff after hospital bombings in Yemen. From the New York Times as well. U.S. fingerprints on attacks obliterating Yemen's economy. From The Intercept. Banned by 119 countries, U.S. cluster bombs continue to orphan Yemeni children. From the New York Times. Report finds ban hasn't halted use of cluster bombs in Syria or Yemen. From The Guardian. Saudis dropped British-made cluster bombs in Yemen, Fallon tells Commons. From Human Rights Watch. Yemen. Coalition drops cluster bombs in capital. From The Washington Post. A cluster bomb made in America shattered lives in Yemen's capital. From The Guardian. U.S. military members could be prosecuted for war crimes in Yemen. Now let's talk about direct American participation in the war in Yemen. From The Intercept. Obama killed a 16-year-old American in Yemen. Trump just killed his 8-year-old sister. From The New York Times. Quiet support for Saudis entangles U.S. in Yemen. From Reuters. Exclusive. As Saudis bombed Yemen, U.S. worried about legal blowback. Again from Reuters. U.S. authorizes logistical intelligence support to Saudi operation in Yemen. From The Hill. Same title. Or similar. U.S. offering logistical intel support to Saudi airstrikes in Yemen. From The Wall Street Journal. U.S. military planes cleared to refuel Saudi jets bombing Yemeni targets. USA Today. U.S. military refueling Saudi planes for Yemen strikes. The Air Force Times. U.S. Air Force refueling missions over Yemen grow by 60%. This one's from the Bureau of Investigative Journalism. Yemen. Reported U.S. covert actions 2001 to 2011. From The Intercept. U.S. and U.K. continue to actively participate in Saudi war crimes, targeting of Yemeni civilians. From The Guardian. British and U.S. military in command room for Saudi strikes on Yemen. From Foreign Policy. Make no mistake, the United States is at war in Yemen. From The Wall Street Journal. U.S. boosts aid in Saudi-led fight to defeat rebel force in Yemen. There's some about drone strikes as well. There's too many to catalog quickly, so I'll just give you a couple links here. From The New Yorker. The Unblinking Stare, the drone war in Pakistan. It also deals with Yemen. Here's a particularly egregious one. From Al Jazeera. Yemenis seek justice in wedding drone strike. From The New York Times. And back to just involvement. U.S. ship off Yemen fires missiles at Houthi rebel sites. From The Guardian. The U.S. just bombed Yemen and no one's talking about it. The Washington Post. Why Congress must vote on the United States role in Yemen. Again from the Washington Post. Still fighting Al-Qaeda. The reason I wanted to share these links is because when a lot of these outlets report on what's going on in Yemen, they will put out one article, but they'll make sure that it's buried under 100 other articles about other things. Everything from what Lady Gaga is up to Stormy Daniels, to the latest goofy thing that Donald Trump has said. They'll cover so many other things that even though they've written one or two articles about this very important series of events, most people never see them because they're buried under more exciting, more shiny things. So if you want to learn more about the war in Yemen, you have to put in the time to do independent research on it. You have to read as much about it as you can, in as many places as you can. I recommend using both North American and international news for this particular issue. You'll get all sorts of different perspectives that way, and you'll be able to try and figure out what is real, what's really happening, and why. I hope these links help some of you. I think it's a good start. It's by no means the entirety, but I think it'll catch you up and it'll give you a good idea of what's going on. And I hope it doesn't depress you too much as you read it.
If you enjoyed this production by The State of Opportunity, please like and subscribe. Remember, you're the ones who make this all possible. You can also check out our Facebook page at Opportunity State and follow us on Twitter at @OfByOpportunity. If you feel like chipping in a couple bucks, please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/stateofopportunity. Have a great day, and remember to always keep an open mind.